So it's fine to talk in theory about experimentation and how it always works out and how it always leads you somewhere good, but it might be hard to believe me. So let me show you what's happened in the last few weeks. I embarked, as you know, on this Ted Hughes project, and I found it interesting that I've had to pull myself back from starting to try and make finished work a couple of times in the process, and I'm sure I'll have to continue to do that. But in shaking things up for that reason, good things have come out of it and something new's emerged. And I'm really interested to see how different where I am now is from where I started. So let me give you a quick look round. I'll show you where I started and where I'm at right now. So we start here. This was the very first experimental piece that I did on paper. I fancied using burnt sienna, black and white. I then moved on to these taped off pieces and squares, adding a couple of extra colours at that point. You've seen these before, so I was still playing with these colours of this bright orange, burnt sienna, black, white. Then I did this one, and something in this caught my attention. It was the format. I really liked the format. And that led me on to testing out that format. Then I started to play with those colours, but as I did that, other colours started to come in. It's been purely intuitively chosen colours. And then, as we get over here, I found I was enjoying the greys and blues a lot. Now, at the same time as those, I worked on these bigger pieces that you've seen because I wanted to break it up and shake it up. However, it's been very tempting to start making big finished paintings. So I wanted to follow that blue idea along. And then something happened by accident. I taped up another piece, I was working on it, and then I turned them round and I really liked the long thin format. So I'm now same colour palette, can you see the greens and lilacs? But I'm following the thread now of liking them that way round. This was a scrap of cardboard that I had, again turned it that way round. Same colour palette. Here I tried bringing some of the oranges back in, not sure I like that. So then I thought, right, let's do a slightly bigger version. So I took a big sheet of paper and I went that way down so that I got even longer pieces. So these are again still playing with the same palette, bringing in some desaturated greens and lilacs, but working on this new format that I found I'm interested in. And here's a scrap of cardboard off the back of a sketchbook that I gessoed and I used to do that piece. Not as enamoured with that shape as I am with this shape, and I'm seeing perhaps doing strips like this and then having them mounted 3 in one frame with mounts around to tidy them up. That might be nice. But again, then I start getting into finished paintings. So I may do something else to shake things up, but that's the last thing that I've done. So as you can see, things have moved on and changed quite significantly, and each change has come about because I just followed a thread and followed what I could hear a little voice saying, try this, try that, or followed a little fizz of excitement that happened when I did something. And this is what happens. So you end up with something completely different, not what you could have imagined, but still exciting and interesting, and I'm excited now to see what happens next. I'm beginning to feel like I want to move on to some large boards, but I don't have anything in the right shape. And I don't necessarily want to stop experimenting on paper. I want to carry the experimentations over onto boards and larger size, I think. But that might have to wait, as I said, a few weeks until I can get some more boards made, because the shapes I want are quite unusual and I won't be able to buy those from Jackson's or anywhere. So anyway, I hope that was helpful, just really to encourage you to trust and to believe that there is always more inside you. There's always more to follow. We're just on a path. We keep going. If we don't impose ourselves on what's happening, we can discover ways of painting that we hadn't considered. So in my case, it's the change in format, as well as the colour palette is not colour palette I've ever used before. The turning much more monochrome when colour has been such an important part of my work until now. Perhaps that's because that's what these poems call for. We'll see, or perhaps things will shift again. I'm just following where my intuition leads me, and I don't know where that's going to end up. That's the exciting part about making art. Okay, see you soon. Bye.